Welcome back, everyone, to this video. This video is brought to us from watching Watchtower, and this is the plaintiff's motion in Montana. It's called in limine. In limine. We're going to take a look at that. Let's first of all see if I said it right. Let's go to the proper pronunciation. Okay, let's see how we say it.
In limine.
You get that?
In limine. In limine.
In limine.
In limine.
In limine.
In limine.
In limine. Now, this word means in limine, it's a Latin term meaning at threshold. So it's a motion in limine is a pretrial motion asking that certain evidence be found inadmissible and that it not be referred to or offered at trial. So that's what that term means, and what does that have to do with this Montana case? Well, here it is. It's a motion in limine, and we're going to take a look at that motion next. Okay, so here's the document. It's done 2 days ago, filed June 14th. So here it is. Plaintiffs, undersigned, the plaintiffs, they're ordering in limine, precluding defendant, so the Watchtower. So they're asking that the Watchtower can't question the witnesses. The Watchtower can't come in and offer a bunch of evidence or argue before the jury on the following matters. So let's take a look at this. This is what the Watchtower does in court. They argue, they bring stuff up in front of the jury that has nothing to do with the case. Here's what the defendants are asking. They're saying, we don't want the defendants' alleged humanitarian aid. We don't want them talking about that. You know, Watchtower getting up and talking about all their humanitarian aid. We don't want them getting up and talking about the First Amendment, their religious rights. We don't want, number 3, the contention that the defendants did not have policies or procedures or anything contrary to the court's factual findings, and blaming other Jehovah's Witnesses, entities, departments, without evidence, and opinions not disclosed by the defendants, the Watchtower's rebuttal experts in their reports. We don't want to hear them. The costs of the plaintiff's medical and psychological treatment, it's none of Watchtower's business. Number 8, claims that the defendants did not have notice of the abuse. Nonsense. They knew about it in 2011, and they destroyed all the records. Number 9, suggestions of what may or may not have been included in the spoliated evidence. Remember that? That's all the shredded evidence. So, you see, Watchtower is looked at as being guilty for destroying the evidence. So the defendants were contacted, the Watchtower was contacted regarding their position on the plaintiff's motion in limine, and stated that they reserve their objections until they have been able to review the arguments. So they still can review it and reply, but this is what's happening in limine in the Montana court case. So what is the reason for all of this? Why did they make this big list of 9 here, these 9 things? Well, I'm going to play a little video as a reminder of what happened in Norway. Remember, in Norway, it cost the court what? Well, it cost Watchtower, I think, $500,000. They drugged this thing on for 10 days. They brought up this Ben Elders in court. He wasn't even a lawyer, but he went on and on about humanitarian aid, the First Amendment, all these contentions, and how it's these apostates, it's their fault. There's only a few of them. But you see, they didn't talk about the child abuse. What was really the issue? And that's what the issue in Norway was. It was just simply child abuse. Child welfare said this religion does not qualify to be a religion. In our country, they can't check the box. They disfellowship children. They stop children from living if it comes to a blood transfusion. So there's a lot of things with the religion that the courts are saying no more. And even we look at Lithuania, neighboring country, they said no more. And they have disqualified Jehovah's Witnesses. They don't meet up. They can't check the box when it comes to child abuse. Okay, well, let's see what happened here, and that's why Montana, the defendants, made this motion in limine. Here's what happened in Norway. Okay, so we're here in the Norway courtroom. This is Risdale, the lawyer that the Watchtower hired. He's a worldly guy. And look at the team there. It's no wonder this cost $500,000, this court case. So, anyways, I'll be here with you, but let's listen to Ben Elders.
A bit about yourself and what position you have and background.
Yes, my name is Ben Elder. I currently live in Germany, originally from Scotland. My background is I've been one of Jehovah's Witnesses for probably longer than I remember. I was baptized when I was about 13. And currently my role is I'm director of an office called the Freedom of Worship office that's based in Germany.
I didn't quite get the name of the office, the director of
Freedom of Worship.
Freedom of Worship.
And in conjunction with that, one of my roles is a representative of the European Association of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay. Do you have a legal background?
I don't.
You don't. And what kind of professional background do you have?
The role I have is a director of this office, so an office manager.
Yeah, but you have an educational background?
I was a tradesman, actually, in building.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honour. Now, we want to express our grave concern with the decisions of the County Governor and the Ministry of Children and Family Affairs to deprive Jehovah's Witnesses in Norway of state grants and, most importantly, registration as, in other words, Jehovah's Witnesses are a Holocaust victim group. So accordingly, Jehovah's Witnesses throughout Europe and the world were shocked when the County Governor and the Ministry disparaged their entire religious community, alleging that adherents use coercion, intimidation, and that parents employ psychological violence and negative social control against their children. Citizens using broad and in addition, such state action legitimizes prejudice and hatred and even persecution of a religious community. We recently saw evidence of, I'd like to mention that the conclusions of the County Governor and the Ministry of Children and Family Affairs are not only contrary to European Convention, but also offensive and degrading to every one of Jehovah's Witnesses. In a free and democratic society, it is insulting for the state to disparage an entire religious community, alleging that they're acting under pressure, fear, and intimidation, and that they exercise psychological violence and negative social control against children. And all this on the basis of a few complaints and a cursory look at the beliefs of Jehovah's Witnesses. Dear are a dubious second-class religious denomination. Deregistration by the state sends a signal that Jehovah's Witnesses are a dubious second-class religious denomination. The European Association of Jehovah's Witnesses, therefore, respectfully, Your Honour, asks that the theoretical rights of hypothetical children, referred to by the County Governor, not be allowed to outweigh the actual rights of real young people throughout Norway who have made a conscientious and personal dedication to their God. History has taught Europeans that the state has an obligation to secure true religious pluralism, which is an inherent feature of the notion of a democratic society. Therefore, public authorities should be particularly careful not to denigrate a religious minority group. Religious minorities already fight a hard battle for survival in many uncompromising political regimes in the four corners of the world, that the court prioritise the rights of thousands of Norwegians not to be stigmatised for following the Bible over the hurt of a few vocal activists who have successfully exercised their right to leave. History has taught Europeans that the state has an obligation to secure true religious pluralism, which is an inherent feature of the notion of a democratic society.
Well, there we have it. We heard it all from Ben Elders. So, Ben Elders, if you bring these kinds of guys into court, it can sometimes sway a jury, and that's why opponents, such as in this case the defendant, the Watchtower, is doing this, and they have been successful in courts by coming in and talking about their humanitarian rights, their humanitarian aid, and so on and so forth. So the Watchtower, they have kind of turned the courtroom into a funny place, and here we have Ben Elders. He's not even a qualified lawyer, but he's basically coming in and reading a script. It's like he's reading a Watchtower to the courtroom, to the world, and it's another opportunity for him to get up and give a witness to the world on who Jehovah's Witnesses are and how they do all this wonderful work all over the world. Well, folks, we'll keep you posted on what's going on with Montana, and hopefully this motion will be passed and it will stop what we have just seen here happen in Norway. Waste the court's time and money. And they lost the court case anyways in Norway, so it didn't help. Okay, thanks again, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.